All right, guys, another Prepared American here today. Today we're going to be talking about bug out bags, the go bag, the bag to carry the bags. Talking about bags, specifically bugging out and why that probably isn't a great idea, but we're going to talk about it because people everywhere else talk about it. 62. All right, so bugging out is the concept of grabbing your gear and leaving your home for a safer, typically predetermined location during an emergency. For the average American, the bug out bag shouldn't be your first preparedness priority. Talk about how popular culture and the media have romanticized the idea of leaving the world behind in a crisis, roughing it in the wilderness, and hitting it. The Last of Us, Walking Dead, whatever you watch, zombies, apocalypse. It's made it seem cool to go out in the middle of nowhere and rough it with a bag on your back. But instead of roughing it and going out there and trying to be Joel from The Last of Us, you should be looking at the way to be best prepared for these different the fan scenarios we seem to be facing, increasingly so nowadays, whether it's natural disasters, civil unrest, whatever it may be. We're seeing more and more of it. So the reality of needing a bag to go somewhere else or figuring out which would be best for your scenario is very important nowadays, we believe. Ultimately, the responsibility lies on us as prepared Americans to determine if our best situation is to continue to prepare our home, stay there, bug in, or if things have gotten so bad like fires, landslides, hurricanes, whatever, and we do need to leave, having a bag predetermined and already packed, ready to go, could be your best option. So we're going to explore those today. In our home, it provides security, safety, and comfort. It also contains all sorts of the useful things that we've been stashing away over the past few years. Because of that, we've made the effort to be basically prepared, whether you have just put away a couple cases of water bottles and a few MREs, or you have 6 IBC containers and your own hydroponics farm underneath your house. Whatever extreme you're on, you've done something to prepare your house. So that's why our house is our safe haven, and that's typically what we want to do. We want to bug in. We want to stay home. We want to stay where we have all our stuff that we've acquired. We want to stay around that because there's safety in that and there's security in that as well. All right, now I'm sure some of you may have an off-grid cabin, maybe a couple acres of hunting land, or some other privately owned location that they're going to in this made-up SHTF scenario that we have. But for the average American who is renting, or maybe just they're barely coming by on their single-family home, that's not our reality for most of us. So what we have to do is we have to prepare to stay in or move out based on your circumstances. All right, so now finally, based on those circumstances, we're assuming you don't own an off-grid cabin or oasis. So the plan is bugging out to the woods to live out our wet dream from the American classic film, Red Dawn. No, not that Red Dawn. 1984 Red Dawn. All right, so before I talk about either of these bags, I need to mention the most important thing you need to focus on when coming up with your plan. That is your physical fitness, your health, and water. Without these three things, you're just gonna die with a heavy bag on your back. And it'll be useful to someone else who finds it and picks it up, the famous loot drop. But for you, you need to be physically fit to have the muscular endurance to walk these distances. If you are going to bug out, you need water to sustain your body, because you'll go 3 days max in perfect conditions. Reality will be 2 max under the stressful conditions of running from whatever scenario is chasing you. And then food. If you don't have food, you're gonna die after a week sooner, really, because you're gonna exhaust everything that you have. All right, sticking with the training piece and physical fitness. If you've never trained with your pack on and hiked a few miles, do you expect the first time you do it during SHTF to go very well? I don't either. You'll probably be dead or wishing you were at the very least. I mean, just the hiking shoes in the first place, having uncomfortable shoes on that you haven't broken in, and then walking 10 miles, that sounds horrible to me. And I cannot reiterate enough times how important water is. It is the building block of life. We need it to survive every single day versus what some people say where you can survive on iced coffee or Monsters. You do also need water. And just to hit on the piece of water one more time before we go into the bags, which everyone wants to see, water, 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 water. You need it, you need it, you need it. And just like SpongeBob from the episode where he's in Sandy's dome and he doesn't think he needs it. He needs it. All right, so finally, onto the thing that everyone's been waiting for, the bags. Ideally, you shouldn't use a bag above 55 liters, because if you do, then you'll fill that space that you have. So if you have a 70-liter duffel bag, you're gonna fill it. And whenever you fill that, you have to carry it then at some point, if you ever have to use it. Hopefully you don't, but you will. So you try to carry that 70-liter pack, make it 2 miles in, realize you have way too much stuff, and you have to dump it. And now you have an imbalanced pack, and it's way worse than it would have been if you got something like this. This is just a Marine Corps issue Ilby pack. It's got a plastic frame that is internal. It's got chest strap, hip strap. This guy is around 50 to 65 liters, and it is the absolute biggest that I would go for a bug out kind of sustainment loadout. So back to the idea of weight. So when it comes to weight in your pack, ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. We want our bug out loadout to be one that can sustain us in the field forever, and this will involve bringing things to catch food, prep food, to filter water, because we're not really going to be able to just carry around 6 gallons of water on a person. So our 2-liter Camelback, and then a dirty bag for the dirty water that we're going to filter it from to the clean water, and you'll be able to use that to sustain yourself out in the wild versus bringing everything with you. So onto the purpose of what the bug out bag, the purpose of the bug out bag is to sustain yourself in the wild versus bringing everything with you. Ultimately, that's what I believe it is and what it should be used for. All right, so at this point, there's going to be a list on the screen of things that I would suggest to put in a bug out bag whenever you're looking to do a sustainment loadout, catch your own food, purify your own water, that kind of thing. The reason this guy is mostly empty, aside from the things that I have with it all of the time, is because depending on what I need to do, I will fill this up accordingly with the stuff that is in these totes here. So that I have sleeping system, warming layers, extra armor, mags and stuff like that, more mags here, and then some other stuff here. I have that ready with the pack hanging up there, so that way, depending on what I need to do, whether it's just me going out camping with my friends for a weekend, or it is SHTF and I have to load it up with the bare essentials, I have all of those essentials in these totes organized by what they are. So that's kind of why this guy sits empty most of the time, unless I'm coming back from a trip and haven't unpacked it yet. But yeah, so that way it gives me that flexibility to work with whatever situation's going on, whether it's regular recreation or it is that kind of end of the world scenario. So next, we'll go into the get home bag, and we're gonna talk about that some. Also, I don't know if anyone noticed or not, but I changed clothes. You probably did, but I changed clothes. It's a new day. I had more ideas for this video to make it better for you guys. So just so everyone can see, got these cool new hoodies. Limitless Combat Team, sponsored by them. They're a PT clinic in the local area that I'm in, Kearneysville, West Virginia. If anyone needs PT, let them know Brandon sent you. They'll hook you up. But yeah, Combat Team. Zoom in on that. But yeah, I changed clothes. I will acknowledge. All right, so this is actually my wife's get home bag that I made for her, and that stays in her car. She works kind of far from home, so the reality of her being kind of stuck is there. So in her car, she has a comfortable pair of shoes, and then in this bag, which is super affordable, it's an outdoor products. It's Walmart. Bought this from Walmart for like 35 bucks. It has the chest strap. Turn that around so you can see a little bit better. It has the chest strap here, just a basic one, and also a very basic hip strap. In a later video, I'll talk about actually setting up a pack to your body and when to use what. But you'll understand then why these are so relevant. And if you already know, you know why. But diving into it, it's got a headlamp attached here. So that way, if it's dark and you need it, you can find it first and then get into the bag. We've got one water source, which is just a regular bottle. And we've got a secondary water source, which is going to be the Sawyer water filter water bottle. It's got the filter built in. Duct tape to fix things. This is a rain poncho. Into here. This is a vehicle breakout kit or break-in kit, whatever you want to call it. A little boo-boo kit. Meal ready to eat. Doesn't need any heat or anything, just a little bit of water. Larger first aid kit, bites, stings, minor injuries like that. Here is a pair of frog togs. More, you know, because 2 is 1, 1 is done, or 1 is none, rather. Whenever you have 1 of something and that something breaks, you all of a sudden have none. When you have 2, 1 breaks, you still have 1 left over. So, generic, cheaper poncho, slightly better top and bottoms. That's everything in the main compartment. Here we have flashlight, handheld, because again, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Then we have our gas mask with filter attached. That's it in the middle compartment. And then here is where we're getting some more goodies. So we have some trail mix, hand warmers, because it gets pretty cold around here. More hand warmers, protein bar, dude wipes, again, not sponsored. Bug spray, and it's natural stuff, so it is lemon, eucalyptus, DEET free, because DEET causes cancer, allegedly. So we, you know, try to stay clear of that. And she gets eaten up by bugs, so I try to look out for her. Little lighter, just basic dollar store lighter. A folding knife, just decent little knife that she can have in here because she normally doesn't have one with her. Sharpie marker, because you never know what you'll need to mark up. And that is everything in the get home bag. So this is a 30-liter bag. I would go no bigger than this. This is honestly probably too much stuff in one bag. But I know her fitness level. She's very strong. She has a lot of endurance. She's very, very capable. So this would be something that would be okay with her. You could probably leave behind one of these first aid kits. Just go with this guy. Leave this Ninja Turtle one at home. Same with the duct tape. Duct tape, you don't need it for the get home bag. And then this is just in there because it stays in the car. So that way if someone else is locked out or something, she can help them. But yeah, this is what you need to get home. Again, gas mask, because we need air to breathe. Here I'll be putting up a list of the get home bag items. And then I'll also have a list of bonus items popping up on the screen now as well, that are things that are more expensive and a little bit harder to get into. But if you can get those things, by all means do it. It's gonna have night vision, armor, magazines, all kinds of extra stuff. My wife doesn't carry a gun typically because of where she works. She's not supposed to. So that's why there's no extra mags or anything in here. But in my bag, I typically do have at least 2 extra handgun mags, extra rifle mag possibly, depending on where I'm going, what I'm planning on doing. But yeah, so that is the get home bag. I'm gonna have to pack all this stuff up now, so I'm gonna probably cut to that. And I just realized the camera wasn't pointing out all the stuff as I was laying it out. So this is everything laid out. You saw me pulling it out, but this is everything laid out so you get a better idea. Again, you could do without that first aid kit, the duct tape. This is all staying. This would likely stay in the car because that's going to reduce a lot of weight. And now we've got the bare necessities, as that one singing dancing bear says. But yeah, this is the bare minimum I would go with a get home bag. All right, so wrapping up here, kind of final thoughts. Get home bag, you should have one in every vehicle, whether it's a small, again, you can do it very affordably. That Walmart bag, 30, 35 bucks. Most of that stuff you can source from Walmart, all in the same aisle. You'll be able to pick it all up. Some of it you'll want to get from a little bit more reputable source, like medical stuff. But when it comes to basic bites, stings, Band-Aids, antibiotic ointment, you can get that from Walmart. You'll be fine. If you're getting tourniquets, chest decompression, stuff like that, North American Rescue, someone reputable. The bug out bag is sometimes necessary. We have to be able to distinguish our reality from our fiction we have in our minds and what's portrayed in the media. Um, there's nothing romantic about having to leave your home because of a natural disaster or emergency. It's a horrible thing, and I don't wish that for anybody. I hope no one ever has to use a get home bag, or rather well, that too, but the bug out bag. Too many bag names. The bag. I hope no one has to use a bag in an emergency, because it means you're having a bad day, and I don't wish that on anyone. But the bug out bag has its place, it has its purpose. It's just not as likely as most people think it's going to be. With all of that being said, if anyone has any questions, comments, wants to see further explained videos of a gear breakdown or anything like that, or any of this stuff reviewed, let me know. Comment, do the likes and subscribes. It helps a lot. We just hit 100 followers and 10,000 views for this month. So that's huge for me. It's huge for this little teeny channel. It's very exciting to start the year that way. I appreciate everyone who watches. With all that being said, this was another Prepared American here helping out whoever will listen, and spread the word. Spread the word. Preparedness is key. The better we can prepare and be ready for the future, the better equipped we'll be and the better off. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. One love.